Hi guys, and welcome to the GCSE Maths Hub. Today we're going to be talking about rounding numbers and the two different types. So we're going to have decimal places and significant figures. Let's start off with decimal places. So as we can see here, what is 7.45839 to 3 decimal places? So the way we're going to want to do this is find the last digit, which would be 3 decimal places away from that decimal point. So the decimal points here, we would go 1, 2, 3, and that last digit would be 8. The decider is the other side of that point, so that's 3. So as we can see here, the decider is less than 5, so we don't round up the last digit. So the answer would be 7.458. If the decider is not 3 and higher than 5, then the answer would be 7.459. So now we're going to move on to another example, which is what is 7.1983 to 2 decimal places. So we can see 2 decimal places, we have to do that 1, 2, move that decimal place 2 points across. So it'll be in there. So the last digit would be 9 and the decider would be 8. The decider is higher than 5, so we have to round up that 9 to make 10, which would move left, making that 1 or 2. So the answer would be 7.20. So that 9 there has become a 10. So the 0 replaces the 9, and then the 1 moves over to make that 1 next to the 7 a 2. So for the next example, we have what is 7.45839 to 1 decimal point. So this is where we have the point between the 4 and the 5, because it's 1 across from that decimal point. So the last digit would be 4 and the decider would be 5, which means we increase that 4 by 1, which would be 7.5. So now let's move on to significant figures. So we can see here we have 2 numbers. So a significant figure is anything but zeros that are past the first initial zeros. So these zeros do not count as significant figures. This would be the first significant figure, second significant figure, third significant figure, and fourth. This 0 still counts as a significant figure because it's part of those numbers which have started off at 2, which are past the initial zeros. Let's get rid of them. And then for here, we would have the first significant figure, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth. So I hope that all makes sense. Let's try some examples down here. So 54.7651 to 3 significant figures would be 5, 4, 7. These are all significant figures. So we would write them all in, but the 7 needs to be rounded up because of that 6, which is higher than 5. So 5, 4.8. So it's the same rounding method as the decimal points, but the places are slightly different. So to 2 significant figures now, which would just be those first 2, so 5 and 4, but you would round the 4 because of the 7. And now to 1 significant figure would be 5. So you wouldn't round the 5 up because of the 4, because it's lower than 5, but you would still keep a point there to show that it's 50 instead of 5. So now let's do the second question, which has some zeros in front of those numbers, which we have to leave out. So this would be the first significant figure, second, third, fourth, fifth. So if we want to round this number to 3 significant figures, we would write 0.00459 because we have reached up to our third significant figure. Now to 2 significant figures is the same thing, but leaving out the 9 and then rounding the 5. So 4, 6. Because that 9 has been left out and it rounds up the 5. So now to 1 significant figure, 0.005, because that 5 here, the second significant figure, has rounded up that first significant figure to 5 because we're leaving that second significant figure out because we're only rounding to one significant figure. So now let's try question 3. So we have our first significant figure, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. So let's do it to 3 significant figures. 3, 0, and then that 8 turns into a 9 because the 9 next to it has rounded it up. You still need to add in these 2 last zeros because that is the order of the number. So that's how big the number is originally, so you have to keep the size. So let's carry on to 2 significant figures. 3, 1, 0, 0, 0. So we've kept the size of the number, but we have only gone to 2 significant figures, and that 0 has been rounded to 1 because of the 8. So now we're going to go to 1 significant figure, which would just be 3, 0, 0, 0, 0. We don't round up because 0 is not, this 0 here is not bigger than 5. So we leave just the 3, and then we keep the size of the number by adding the 4 zeros at the end. I hope that all makes sense. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you.